I think New York is in a really good position to repeat. I think the Liberty are in a really good position to repeat here. And you mentioned Betnijah Laney-Hamilton earlier. I did low-key forget about her injury. I don't love that she's supposed to be out for 5-6 months. I had to check it and look it up. So it based on that timeline, it looks like they may miss her for the whole season. So I don't love that. But when I look at, I'm a former Lakers fan because I'm a Kobe fan first. And so I used to support the Lakers wholeheartedly, you know, especially in the late 2000s. And when Kobe won back to back in, I guess it would have been '09 and 2010, when the Lakers won back to back. One thing I learned from being a fan of a team that repeats is that the team has to evolve. I mean, every team, is looking to get better and make little tweaks each year. That's usually the case, right? But after you win, I'm always fascinated by what teams do to tweak or evolve after they win. It really gives me a signal of like, okay, how confident, what is their ability to repeat with this group? Because it's not always realistic to just be like, okay, we'll just roll out the same group and see if we can win it again. You usually have to evolve a little bit. Look at what Vegas did, your beloved Aces, Marcus, after they won a couple years ago. All they did was add Candace Parker the following year. Like you want to evolve in order to have a chance to repeat, because repeating it's just so hard. I know it from my little career playing high school and college. Like just winning back to back is always, it's just so hard to do. I think Phoebich, first of all, is going to be their kind of saving grace in a way, but not having Naj, at least you have Phoebich, and looking at what Phoebich was able to do for them last year in the playoffs and in the finals, if you're not going to have Naj, at least you still have Phoebich. So that makes me a little more confident. Now, I'm excited that they get Marine Johannès back. Oh, yeah. So they get back their creative, dynamic, overseas player who is really one of the most creative offensive players in the whole league. She was out last year playing overseas, but she's back. So between Phoebich and Marine Johannès, like, you're still good and dynamic on the wing. I believe they still have Kayla Thornton as like a wing defender. You lose that with Naj, but I think you still have Kayla Thornton. So I just think the Liberty have what they need. And then finally, of course, the addition of Natasha Cloud. I think that, Marcus, I liken it to when my Lakers repeated. You know who we brought in the second year? Ron Artest, also known as Meta World Peace. And listen, as a Kobe fan, as a Laker fan, Ron Artest used to drive me crazy. I never could get a feel for his game. Just too unpredictable, too volatile. I'm like, man, how is this going to work? How is him playing for Phil Jackson how is it playing with Kobe? How is that going to work? But him and Kobe used to have their battles when Ron was on the Rockets. They had some run-ins. They've had some battles in the past. And it was one of those, if you can't beat them, join them things. And it was like, all right, let's just take on Ron. We've got to change things up. It can't just be Trevor Ariza as our three, for forever. Bringing in Ron Artest just kind of changed the mold a little bit. And the history between him and Kobe made it that much more interesting, because it was like a Shane Bat. It's like adding a Shane Battier who had his battles with Kobe. Like, it was kind of like that. It's like, oh, now we have him. Now he can bother other people. Sure, let's take it. And it worked. And then he hit a big three for us to seal the deal against Boston in Game 7. So I liken it to that, because Natasha Cloud, as we remember a couple years ago, was a thorn in Sabrina Ionescu's side defensively. So Natasha Cloud was on her, was forcing her into being a player that she didn't want to be. Natasha Cloud was taking pride, clapping in her face guarding her, taking things away from her. Now Sabrina Ionescu has that on her side. Natasha Cloud's going to be bothering other guards. And not to mention, it gives Sabrina a chance to play off the ball a little bit more offensively. So on both ends, I think when you look at Natasha, I think Natasha Cloud is the best evolution example of like, let's make this team a little different. You're adding a great two-way player that relieves pressure from Sabrina offensively and defensively. She's a winner. She's experienced. She's a competitor. Like, I think the Liberty did exactly what they needed to do to have a roster that's okay. If we're healthy, Sabrina, Stewie, Jonquel, we know our big three. We added Natasha Cloud, might not have Naj, but we still have Fibich. Marine Johannès is coming back. Niara Sabali is part of our team who really came on late last year, and she could take on an increased role. I think their depth is still there. I think they've got enough on both ends to confidently say they could repeat as champions. We might get back to Liberty versus Aces in the finals this year, Marcus. It might be that. I still think it's like the top three are just so known. It's New York, Minnesota, Vegas. Any combination of those three could be the finals. But yeah, all things considered, I think New York has what it takes to repeat this year. I think they've evolved, and I think it's there for them.
I can't disagree with you there, man. I can't disagree with you. I think it's possible. Only thing I will say, Kayla Thornton is in Golden State now. She was
okay.
She's in Golden State now. But to your point though, Fibich and Johannès, those two, I think, are going to make up for the absence of Betnijah, Laney-Hamilton. They're going to, add more depth, add more versatility and dynamic justness. That's not even a word, but they're going to add more to this offense with both. I'm an Aces fan, but I am very excited to see the two of them on the floor at the same time. I really,
defensively, they're not having Naj or Kayla Thornton. They are going to have to figure some things out defensively on the wing.
Yeah.
They're going to have to figure that out, because that is going to be a hole for them, but they might be that much better offensively this year.
But I like that much better. Yeah, but I like your point about Natasha Cloud. I mean, when Natasha Cloud wrapped up in Washington, right? That season. I mean, I thought that she's like that. She's like that one point guard that you could put on any other roster and she would do just fine, because she's just that good, right? She is one of the very few past first point guards we have left in the WNBA. And to your point about Sabrina played great last season. A lot of that was, though, because she was playing on the ball. I think looking at the confidence that Sabrina had just from a great season of playing on the ball, that resulting in a championship, including a game winner in the finals, to go then to be able to be off the ball a little bit more and kind of make things happen off the ball. She moves well off the ball. They're going to set a bunch of screens for her, you know what I mean, like they normally do, but now it's probably going to be even more, because I think Sabrina could be in line for a really good season. I didn't even think about the Natasha Cloud component of it when talking about not just a 50, 40, 90 season, but even just how, like, what that ceiling for Sabrina could look like as far as just efficiency and productivity. And defensively, of course, as well, that's going to be the big thing, because you look at, every playoff series, defenses were looking for Sabrina. They can kind of the Liberty can kind of hide her a little bit more now on defense now that they have Natasha Cloud, because Natasha Cloud is going to take whatever that assignment is for the most part, and they'll just have to keep in mind of switches and things like that. But defensively, I think there are some things to work on the wing. I agree with you there, but as Natasha Cloud and Sabrina Ionescu, that feels like the perfect backcourt pairing for what they're both good at and what their both weaknesses are offensively and defensively. So I mean, you're right. It's hard. We got to see it, right? Like I said earlier, I'm interested to see how soon Stewie can be able to get into the fold. I mean, she's still Stewie, but you still want her to be able to get into the fold, so all these pieces can mesh and gel, so we can see what that could look like. But the Liberty might be, I mean, it feels like they're in a very similar position to where the Aces were from 2022 going into 2023. Made a couple of adjustments, right? You said they just brought in Candace Parker, but that seemed to be all they needed to kind of unlock that next level. Just having Johannès come back, bringing in Natasha Cloud, despite all the departures, that could be all they need to make themselves a little bit more daunting and a little bit more unbeatable to defend that championship. So if I had to pick right now, I would agree with you. I would say the Liberty are probably gonna win it again.